How's it going, gamers? Today we're going to be talking about the YouTuber known as Chadtronic, and more so how his content has progressed over the years, I guess. This is something I've really wanted to talk about for a long time, but I didn't really know how to put it into words pretty much. And the reason why I really want to talk about it a whole lot is because Chad has been a very huge inspiration to me over the years for making videos on this channel. I started watching him about 4 years ago, and I really enjoyed the content a whole lot. He makes a very wide range of videos, ranging from reaction to gaming to unboxing and stuff. If you watch some of the videos, you might be able to see how certain things, I guess, ended up on this channel, where I got the ideas pretty much. But over the past couple years, I've noticed a little bit of a change in his content. A long time ago when he first started out, he used to make a lot of like gaming-based content. For example, the first few videos on his channel were completely based off of Nintendo. He was like a huge Nintendo fan way back in the early days of his channel. These are currently the videos that are up on his channel, the oldest ones. I do know that there are a ton, and I mean a ton, of deleted videos, partially due to unknown causes, but also things like the Copa update. I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of what Copa was like. Basically, if your video had a toy in it, there was a pretty high chance that YouTube would think you're appealing to kids and would strike you right down. It wasn't very nice, so yeah, rip many Chadtronic videos, unfortunately. Something I really enjoyed about the content a whole lot was just how original it was to me. Because with traditional gaming videos on YouTube, they tend to have like a lot of cuts, and they just generally feel like heavily edited, like we're talking crazy edited, like editor does the heavy lifting. With the old videos such as the Mario Maker and Nintendo Land series on Chadtronic Games, which is an abandoned channel now, I think that's kind of debatable. These videos are mostly completely uncut, and they were fun to watch because I was enjoying more so the gameplay in the video and less the video itself. There wasn't like crazy over-the-top editing in these. Obviously they were edited to look good, but that was really about it. And that's really what I shoot for on this channel. I don't want to be editing for a full eternity just so the video can look like slightly better to a certain audience. Like, I really don't think I'd be proud of the content if it weren't as raw, in quotation marks, as I have it now. Obviously, I do care about like how the video looks and everything, but I'm not gonna do like any crazy over-the-top edits. I just feel like it's kind of engagement bait, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, yeah, I'm going real off-topic here. Anyways, the game choices were also pretty unique. I hadn't watched a whole lot of Nintendo content prior to Chadtronic. Definitely not. And it was more of like a casual Let's Play, which is something I also really enjoyed too. For example, in the Mario Maker series, it's literally just Chad and Evan, his friend, just playing Mario Maker levels that the viewers submitted, I'm guessing, or levels that they just found, just for fun, really. I found that, like, super entertaining. I've watched that series multiple times, just because of that really whole aesthetic I just talked about. The Nintendo Land series is also how I became aware of the game Nintendo Land, hence why I decided to get my hands on it, as I was talking about in a Metroid episode. I don't know how many people watching this video have seen any of those videos, but I briefly mentioned in one of those videos that I had played Metroid Blast in Nintendo Land, which is basically a collection of, I guess, theme park events centered around Nintendo's various franchises and everything. I wouldn't have been made aware of all these games through his content and everything. Another type of content I really engaged with a whole lot on his channel, and still do, is the reaction content. More so the older reaction content, such as the various Sammy Classic Sonic fan reaction videos, and like the old YTP reactions as well. Those I found super entertaining, because his reactions were generally funny. It felt like he was adding things. And I'm not saying he doesn't really add things to this day, but the reaction videos just generally seem more generic, I guess. If you look at the thumbnails, it's the same copy and pasted face on a lot of them. But we'll talk more about the present later. These videos were also pretty significant as well, because they correlated a lot with the gaming videos. He wasn't just reacting to random TikToks he found like many other YouTubers. I can't stop going back on that. But often he would react to commercials. He still does react to commercials. But more specifically, back in the day, he used to react to Nintendo commercials and everything, such as an Amiibo commercial, the commercial for the original Super Smash Bros. On N64. There's a clear pattern here that Chad is an obvious Nintendo fan, which I really loved. He's greatly influenced my interest in Nintendo. The next type of content, and the last type of content, the old content that I'll talk about, is the unboxing content. At one point, what is now Chadtronic Games was called Chadtronic Pokemon, where he'd open up a lot of different Pokemon cards and other things like having to do with Pokemon generally. It was, I guess you could call it a reaction video in a way. But his commentary in these as well highly influenced the way I run this channel. These videos aren't just like raw unboxings pretty much. They obviously have commentary on them, which is something I used along with the other types of content to like build this channel a whole lot. The most popular video on Chadtronic Games right now is a video where he takes a look at the world's biggest Pokemon cards, which drew me and several other viewers' attention simply because of how unique this is, really. Not a whole lot of people had heard about this, I'd imagine, and therefore they clicked on the video because they wanted to see it. That's really why I enjoyed watching a lot of these videos, because it gave me insight, really. It showed me things that I didn't have in real life, obviously, and it definitely influenced me a lot. Overall, all this content really combined is really what draws me to the channel. I definitely have a bigger interest in all of this older content than I do with the more recent videos, which we'll talk about momentarily. And overall, it really makes me wish I was around, like subscribed to Chadtronic when he originally posted these videos, because these videos are old. They range from, I believe, 7 to a full decade old, these videos. And it really makes me wish that I was also alive during the 90s too, because that's like a big theme on his channel. He is a pillow-bending man-child that is stuck in the 90s, and this content really highlighted a whole bunch of that. In case anybody is wondering, I was not around in the 90s despite sounding old. In fact, I was not even around for the majority of the early 2000s prior to 2010. Now we're gonna get on with the section of the video where I talk about the present with Chadtronic right about now. The content has definitely shifted, for sure. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of that gaming aspect anymore. It kind of feels a little bit all over the place, really, if you look at the recent uploads. There's definitely a lot of reaction videos in there, and probably the most famous of the reaction videos are the cursed commercials ones, which I'm not really saying are bad. They were definitely great for the channel, statistically, in the past, and still to this day as well. But they just feel a little bit out of place compared to what I like to watch. I have watched a couple of these episodes, and they are pretty well done, not gonna lie. I definitely like how Chad refurbished them by having like his own set where he reacts to them, where he's like trapped in the haunted house or whatever. I think that's amazing for a reaction video. That is incredible quality right there. I imagine he probably had to invest a little bit of money in doing that, but I'd be very curious to see how that's done, like, specifically. But it's pretty good quality content, not gonna lie. It just doesn't really appeal to me all that much. There are also reaction videos to various news reports as well on things like schools here in the States, you know, and how crazy they can be, according to these videos. But I think that really differentiates from the idea that the channel is like focused on the 90s and everything, because school was definitely a thing in the 90s. The thing is that school was a thing before the 90s, like long before. We're talking like since ancient times and like more recently. And I feel like it appeals to more modern day, I guess. Another thing I'd like to point out too is that Chad doesn't seem to be as energetic as he used to be in the videos. He seems a lot more quiet, I guess, than he did in the past. One interesting thing I found that when I was watching one of the YTP reactions, obviously YTPs are remixes of older videos. You can't go into the future, grab a video, come back and make a YTP out of it. The source material already needs to exist, you know? And since those are older videos, these YTP reactions have given Chad an opportunity to look back on his previous content, and in doing so, at one point he definitely took note of how he used to be in the videos.
What is this? Jeez, I was psycho.
So overall, I kind of feel like he's toned it down a little bit. I guess maybe from reacting to himself, maybe. I'm not really so sure on that one. But I personally really like just how crazy he was in some of the older videos. It was like very, very entertaining to watch to just see him go crazy. But not like crazy crazy, like I Show Speed or other YouTubers who are like, their main goal is to give like an over-the-top reaction. His reactions were funny, but they weren't like that over-the-top aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it might be because of what we're gonna talk about next, and that is Poglings. Basically, Poglings is a game that Chad and a team of his have been working on for a while. And I've watched a lot of videos on it recently, specifically from Chad, the promotions he's been doing on both of his channels. And it definitely does seem like a very, very good game. That looks very fun to play, not gonna lie. These trailers are super high quality, and it looks like something Nintendo would make, honestly. Who knows, maybe I'll make a Let's Play, and we can see if I will truly enjoy this game, but I'm going a little bit off topic here. Basically, the goal of Poglings is to bring back the gameplay mechanics that the Sonic Adventure games had in the early 2000s. Now, I haven't played any Sonic Adventure, but basically, the mechanic in question here is the Chow Garden mechanic, where you raise creatures and everything. And this definitely seems to be meeting this goal a whole lot, based on the videos I've seen. However, I do believe that the game could be marketed a little bit better. There are two videos I really want to take a look at. The first one being Sammy Classic Sonic fans' reaction, I'm gonna put that in quotes, to the actual trailer itself. Basically in this video, Chad calls up Sammy Classic Sonic fan, who by the way is older now, in case that's a surprise to you. He's grown up a little bit. Sammy's reaction in this video doesn't feel like much of anything. I feel like he doesn't know completely what he was looking at, because throughout the video he doesn't really say much, and I think in this video it would be very helpful to have him like talk to Chad more instead of just watch the video and then talk to Chad. Like, I think it would be a lot more like engaging of a reaction if there was like some back and forth between them. This video is just Sammy watching the trailer and occasionally saying something. And it's not a lot either. It kind of makes me feel that Sammy had no idea about the game whatsoever. And I think that's kind of a fair claim here, because Sammy has been living his own life. I won't give you the whole rundown and everything, but basically, he doesn't like work with Chadtronic at all. He doesn't work with Chad, so he's not really up to date on what's going on with his company and everything. I'd probably react the same way if this was just thrown at me out of the blue. But overall, this video kind of just feels like a promotion that says, hey, Sammy likes this because he's a Sonic critic, that's why he's in the video. I just think this video is kind of a swing and a miss, honestly. Basically, in a nutshell, I really think this video had a lot of missed potential with how Sammy was like completely new to this whole thing and Chad has been working on it for so much. I think there could have definitely been a very interesting conversation to be had in this video, but it just didn't happen really. And I think what Chad was going for when he edited this video was to literally just capture Sammy's reaction, which he did. But like, there was so much to branch off of from like what Sammy was saying every so often. For example, when Sammy was like looking at the Poglings evolving, I guess, you could have had like a whole conversation about that, and that would have led to like some great insight about the games, but that simply just didn't happen. The next video I'd like to talk about is the video titled The Return of Sonic Adventure's Chow Concept, or something along the lines of that. I don't know the exact title off my head, but basically, this video, when I was about to click on it, I was thinking, is this gonna like compare Sonic to Poglings, really? I thought it would be more so like Chad talking, but this is literally just a trailer. In the thumbnail, I think the thumbnail is very misleading, because it shows Sonic in the thumbnail, and it's like a big part too. Half the thumbnail is Poglings, and half the thumbnail is Sonic. And the video, I checked, does not show a single frame of Sonic Adventure. So I really think that this is just kind of clickbaity, I guess. I know that might be a very ambitious claim given the content on YouTube, but I just generally feel like the title and the thumbnail of this video are a little bit misleading, which is not something that the older videos suffered from, really. I think this video would have done better if there was like some insight with the Sonic games in them, definitely. It would give some insight into Poglings, which would encourage people to fund the project. And I'm not saying Poglings is exactly struggling for funding. Chad started a Kickstarter, and it was blown clean out of the water in terms of funding. It was crazy. I took a look at it the other day. I think the community is incredible. I would absolutely love to see this game be produced, and I'm glad like other people think so as well. It's a very good game from the looks of it. But overall, the ads just kind of feel like they're everywhere, and I'm not saying the game shouldn't be advertised. Obviously, if you don't advertise something, if you don't promote it, it's gonna financially flop. I'm no financial expert, but I can tell you that things like this, that things that are new, need to be promoted. But I just feel like it could be done better. There are a couple videos on Chadtronic games right now that are dedicated to Poglings, and something that I think would be absolutely huge for Chadtronic games would be some early sneak peek gameplay. I'm not sure if they've got like a beta version or an alpha version that's like private to the developers right now that they could actually use to make those kinds of videos, but if they ever do get to that point, I think uploading some sneak peek gameplay and possibly an official Chadtronic Let's Play would be amazing for this game. And the Chadtronic Games channel too. The Chadtronic Games channel hasn't seen a lot of activity in the past few years, ever since it was rebranded back to Chadtronic Games. Basically, the channel started off as Chadtronic Games, became Chadtronic Pokemon, and then recently returned to Chadtronic Games after Chad stopped uploading Pokemon videos there. Additionally, I think it is noteworthy that the channel did have a couple of stream VODs. I think there were like 6 or 7 5-hour videos uploaded there briefly for maybe 3 or 4 months or so. I can't really give you the exact details on that, but they were removed, and I think that could have had a lot of potential too. But I think the channel would get a little bit cluttered if you had stream VODs, like these big long videos, mixed with these Let's Play videos, really. I think it's really like one or the other. One last thing I'd like to address is the way Chad titles his videos now. Back in the day, the titles were a whole lot simpler, if you can see what I mean there. But now I believe they are created to appeal to the algorithm more, definitely a whole lot. Because YouTube is definitely a changing landscape. The tactics you use when making your title and your thumbnail vary. So therefore, what you do 10 years ago might not be effective today. And I believe having that is a very important thing on your channel, especially if it's your job, which this is Chadtronic's career here. However, the reason why I'm drawn to the older content is because the title matches the video perfectly. For example, the video we took a look at earlier, the Nintendo mascot commercials, is exactly that. I guess technically you could title that reacting to Nintendo mascot commercials because it's a reaction video, but I think that title is like even simpler, especially if you look at the thumbnail too. But now it feels like the title is a complete mystery, which is why you should click it to figure out what it's about really. And I do think that's an excellent tactic to use here on YouTube. That will definitely land you some engagement instead of just typing out a full summary for your video title. With these types of titles, there are also words that YouTubers will put in all caps because they're keywords and they want you to focus on them to click on the video. And since this is the tactic that basically everyone uses, I just kind of feel like the content isn't as special as it used to be. And I imagine way back in the day when the Chadtronic videos from 8, 9, 10 years ago were first being uploaded, people did that a whole lot with their titles. I wouldn't be surprised if they did really, because really YouTube was still a job back then as it is right now. But I just feel like the titles of the past were like a whole lot more straightforward, really. But I'm personally more of a fan of more straightforward titles. As you've seen on this channel, I did try something like this that I talked about earlier a while back when I first uploaded the video where I suggested things in Roblox Bloxburg. I just generally didn't like that title a whole lot. It's still the way it is, because digital history and everything. And I also can't come up with a better title. I just generally like to have a good title on the videos that'll obviously make people want to click it, but it's also not like a complete mystery as to what we do in the video, which might be hurting my view count a little bit, but at the end of the day, I really don't care. I find it very important that people actually know what they're clicking on this channel. That's why I always put what game we're playing somewhere towards the end of the title. It'll always be there in my current uploads. And that's what I hope to keep on doing, really, because I think that helps organize the videos a whole lot more. And it still does have those keywords in it, too. Anyways, in conclusion, I very much prefer the older Chadtronic videos over the newer ones. But that's really just my opinion at the end of the day. I'm sure there's a pretty big crowd of people who very much like the modern reaction videos. Anyways, this is something I've really wanted to talk about for a long time, just because of all the inspiration I've taken from all the old Chadtronic videos, especially the gaming ones, when uploading content to this channel. I definitely hope the Poglings game succeeds. I don't see why it wouldn't, given how well the Kickstarter did. Would absolutely love to pick that up, not gonna lie. Those Poglings are the most adorable frickin' things I have ever seen in my life, and I would absolutely love to potentially have the opportunity to raise an army of them and broadcast it here on YouTube. More close to my personal life, really, is that Chad's videos have helped me get through some very dark times in my life, as well as just like inspiring me to make videos in general, really. He is one of my favorite people on this platform. Even to this day, really. I know I really spat on a lot of his newer content, really, but at the end of the day, he is just trying to keep his lights on with all these videos, and sometimes you just got to adapt to that. So I just really wanted to offer, like, my opinions, really. This has been something that's been on my mind for a long time. I cannot emphasize that enough. And I kind of just wanted to make a video about it, because videos have kind of become a way that I express myself, really. I've also added multiple things into this video while editing, because it really just didn't feel complete in the original recordings, which is this recording, which is being recorded with a different mic than the other recordings I did, pretty much. So that's why my voice has been changing. So you can basically figure out what parts I added into this video. That's all I've really got to say. If you like what you heard, subscribe, join my Discord, all the good stuff, and I'll see you later.